So welcome back to me, welcome back to Thailand. Trubulita here from Thailand. Hello, how are you? It's one pod here in Thailand, which is Wednesday, and it's game day. It's good, and so it's about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm running late because I went for a run today, and I went for a run, and so for instance, a run, swim and yoga. Temperatures are around about 30 plus degrees now. It's just slightly over 30 degrees. It's not too bad at the moment. It's a bit not as cold as what has been, etc. But it's not good. It's not half as hot, because we're expecting in April, which is our summer, temperatures going up to a good 45 degrees. That's what they're expecting. We didn't have too much of a hot summer last season, apart from the previous year, where temperatures are in about the high mid 40s, etc., with a feel like temperature of over 50 degrees. So when I'm telling you it's 20 degrees is cold, you understand now. But that's what they're expecting. Anyway, so hope you're doing well. So it's game day in at the Etihad, our second leg against Newcastle. At 8 o'clock, 3 a.m. Thursday morning for me to watch the game. So for instance, it's going to be interesting. See how we take this one. So our beloved Lord Master has been talking. He's had a very controversial press conference talking about transfers and money spent, and also about refereeing, and also about political views as well, which I don't agree with. Especially a certain thing. Again, for instance, I'm not going to put politics into this. We'll keep it separate. But it's interesting. To see how we how we react to the Spurs game, and so for instance, because we got absolutely, even though we didn't lose against Spurs, we certainly got attacked by the media. No surprise there, and of course Rodri has come out and said what he's come out and said, and of course he's for instance, and I agree with what Rodri is saying. And if you look at what you'll say, your tinted glasses, no, that's not true at all. I just feel that, for instance, from what I've seen, etc., for instance, over the last few weeks of VAR decisions, not just at City, I've seen it many clubs. Fulham's had an issue, Everton, I think they've had an issue, and VAR just seems to not need to improve, and the refereeing standards in the UK, for instance, need to improve as well, and they need to do better, and better communicating with the fans. For many things they do, because again they've just the FA Cup prior and everybody was we scored a goal and you went out and celebrated, and sometimes technology, like the goal line technology, is great. You see the certain things but when it's come to interpretation of the law, for instance, and again that's when the mistakes happen, because I think people are human, and for instance, I just think it's bringing in a system, and you're trying to make things better, but when you're making it, you get the impression of is getting worse, or because it's been rushed in. It feels it's been rushed in, and it's not. It's got TV problems, blah blah blah. But it just feels it's not. For instance, it's been rushed in. So excuse me. Yeah, well, I knew that was going to happen. So I didn't have to leave it. So for instance, I feel like it's been rushed in, and so there's definitely issues with the VAR, and so for instance, which needs to get sorted out, and but let's move on from there. Let's move on to the game and what Pep has been saying. But let's just have a chat about football first, etc., before we go to Pep. And we go into the game 2-0 up from the first half. Let's just read this. Manchester City are driving in the driving seat to reach their 23rd domestic cup final at Wembley under the tutelage of Pep Guardiola after scoring. What a fantastic record. All these people have been Pep out 23 times. Christ's sake. And Pep out. After securing 2-0 victory over Newcastle in the first leg at James Park 3 weeks ago, courtesy of strikes from Semenko and Ryan Cherky. Citizens have failed to reach the League Cup final just once in the 6 previous incidents of winning a semi-final first leg, losing to rivals the Rags in 2009-10, and now eyeing up their first AFL Cup triumph in 2020-21. Only Liverpool 10 have won the competition more than City 8. So yeah, and the reasons why we probably like last season, etc. I think we played Spurs and what's it called? I think we played too many games. I think we had to. We just bailed on it really. What's it called? So it's not like we didn't have the squad, etc. We had too many injuries, and I think we just bailed on it. So yeah, and I think the last couple of seasons, but this time we have an opportunity to win it. It's not, we don't have that, again, qualifying 8th in the Premier Champions League makes a difference, and so yeah. So I must say I was quite happy to get to the final of the progress in the League Cup as much as, because the most important cups are the Premier League, the FA Cup, etc., and the Champions League. Believe me, I picked them up. I've got all 4 of them in my hand. And believe me, that little tiny FA League Cup is so small. It's on that little pinnacle. It needs to be bigger. You need to make it bigger because it's so tiny. It really is. And I remember when we won the treble, etc., for instance, and I was stood there, and everybody was holding the Premier League, the FA Cup, etc. Nobody was touching the League Cup. But it could be a stepping stone, and onto winning more trophies this season. Especially the new players who have not won at Wembley. Okay, since the first leg win, Guardiola has also suffered a dip in form, winning 2, drawing 1, lost 2, and most recently played a frustrating 2-2 league draw with Spurs in North London on Sunday. And this was the first time Man City have led 2 goals at half-time in the game and failed to win since April 2008 3-2 over the Rags. In the Premier League, City have scored 6 first half goals without reply, but have conceded 6 in the second half without scoring in 2026. They collapsed against Spurs, highlighted how second half performances are becoming a growing concern for Guardiola, which have seen his side slip 6 points behind leaders and title rivals Arsenal with 14 games to play. So it is a concern. It is a concern, our second half performances, and so we'll just have to see who's addressed it. So, again, I think too many people are blowing it way over proportion. Again, we've got a dip in form. It's not been a perfect season. People keep going back to the treble season, so to Man City, to the team we were when we had the Silvers and the Agueros and the companies and things like that. So, for instance, Rodri was actually on tip-top form, etc. Man City is not as good as this. But then again, if I'm looking at other teams, I think I was listening to the 12th Man podcast, and they were talking about Arsenal, and if Arsenal win it this season, for instance, it's going to be the poorest season, because they were talking about Liverpool not being great last season, but they won it, but it was because nobody else turned up. This season, exactly, Arsenal looks like favourites, but the part of what's good, nobody's really giving them a game, because everybody keeps dropping off. Aston Villa lost again. So, for instance, Man City's got issues. So again, it was everybody's very focused on Manchester City and how we're playing, but when you got the likes of Liverpool, for instance, and the money they spent and where they are, for instance, and so where you expected Liverpool to go running away with the Premier League title because the players they bought in, and so for instance, it's not been a great season, but to sit the line and say, for instance, Man City have been very poor or anything like that, I'm not having that at all. I really not. Not compared to when you put everything into context. We're still in 4 competitions. We're still second in the league. We're still, for instance, but I wouldn't say transition, but I think the mainstream media just needs to back off too much. And also City fans, stop moaning too much about, we're not good, we're crap, blah, blah, blah. Oh, come on, keep the faith. And Pep out, what a little garbage. Man City will relentlessly welcome Wednesday's return to the Etihad, where they have won 14 out of 18 games in all competitions this season, drawing 2 and losing 2, while they've also won of their last 11 home games encountered with Newcastle by aggregate of 37-3. Including 4 top-flight victories in February 2025. Yeah, for instance, we've got a very good record against Newcastle at the moment, and I expect us to win the games. But it's going to be, we're saying that I'm not going to disrespect Newcastle because they're a Prem team, etc. They can score. Again, they will look at Man City as our vulnerability, and because again we'll have to change the team again. I think it all down to formation more than anything else. It's the formation which is the most important thing at the moment. Newcastle began their defence of the year full cup, crowned with victories over Bradford, Spurs, and Fulham, because they won it last season. But their 10th game winning run are in the competition. Date back to the start of 24-25 season, came at the end of the competition with a home defeat against Man City in the first leg of the semi-final tie. Conceding a second goal in the 98th minute was a body blow for the Magpies, who but not fatal. In the eyes of its head coach Eddie Howe, who has insisted that the team are still in the fighting in a bid to become just the second side to overturn a 2-goal first half deficit to reach the EFL Cup final after Aston Villa Tranmere in 93-94. Instead, a mighty challenge awaits Newcastle, who have lost 17 of the last 18 visitors to Man City and have only celebrated 1 victory at the Etihad over 22 years. But the solitary success came in the EFL Cup when they claimed 2-0 victory round 4 away victory in October 2014. Newcastle overall away form this season have left a loss of desire, and they've only prevailed 3 of their last 16 matches on the road in all competitions, drawing 5, lost 8. Most recently, letting 1 league slip to lose 4-1 at Anfield in the Premier League on Saturday, leaving them 10th in the table and 6 points behind top flight. They're not playing well, Newcastle, at all. For instance, I'm quite surprised. I put them in my top 6, etc. this season, but they're not playing well, and they are definitely faltering off. And but I think they're missing Bruno Tonali. I think, for instance, he's one of the main guys, and I don't think he'll be fit for tomorrow as well. Heading to Wednesday's second leg, the Magpies can take at least some confidence of having progressed to the previous 2 FA Cup ties against Man City in 2014 and 2023. They also claimed a 2-1 victory over Guardiola's side in November. Lucky. They will now attempt to beat the Citizens twice in the same season for the first time since 1983-84. Right, okay, so again, so the form at the moment, all competitions, Man City have won 3, drew 2, lost 2, drew 1, etc. Not great. Newcastle, lost 3, won 1, lost 3, and drew 2. So they've definitely got a load of traffic lights colours in theirs. City's team news. City's defender Ruben Dias has returned to first day in training. I expect to see him. I don't think he'll start. But he's not expected to feature. There you go. I think he'll be on the bench. Jamie Dockle, Calf, Josh Carvalho, John Stones, Matteo Kovacic, Savinho, all sideline, not to be part. Gahey, ineligible. Max Delaney and Nathan Ackle are set to start. They both won't start. And James Trafford will be in goal, more than likely. Out of form, Phil Foden hoping to force his way back into the side after being dropped against Spurs, but the Guardiola may continue. Captain Bernardo Silva and playmaker Ryan Cherky in the advanced central roles if he's fit. The latter who is expected to shake off a knock. Okay, alright. Like Cherky, Semenko also on the score sheet for at Spurs. the weekend against Newcastle. Didn't have his great game either. Francis need to do more. January signing could have, but he's scoring goals. A central alongside Erling Haaland. No, I think Momu should play that. That game. As for Newcastle, Bruno Guimaraes, massive player, missing in the defeat against Liverpool, with an ankle problem. Sven Botman and Lewis Miley were also not, but brought in for the substitutes, and they have been carrying respective thigh and ankle injuries. However, Newcastle revealed that Guimaraes are also expected to miss out. Joe Linton groin, Thibaut Mittermeier hamstring, Fabian Sier ankle, and Emil Kraft knee in the treatment room, as both Botman is available for selection. Yeah, they've got a lot of injuries, and a lot of injuries the reason to key players. That's probably the reason why they've dropped off. All three players are doubtful, and we assessed ahead of the kick-off with Joe Linton groin, Liberamento Shah. All remain in the treatment room. Okay. The absence of Guimaraes and Miley Tronga is linked with deadline day moves to Arsenal. However, being out without a recognised centre back against Liverpool, with Anthony Gordon, Harvey Barnes, Matthew Elliott, and starting in the three-man attack, but he may opt to recall Nicolas Otamendi, Nick Baltimore, and Joel Misa on Wednesday. So a possible starting line for Newcastle: Pope, Trippier, Thor, Burns, Hall, Wilcock, Tonali, Ramsey, Barnes, Wissa and Gordon. Man City, Trafford, Nunes, Putinov, Aki. I ignore it, yeah, I agree with that. Rodri, Riley, Cherky, Bernardo Silva, Simeonko and Haaland. I wouldn't want to squeeze in Omar Mamouche. I think it's important for he gets in, because I think he can help and support Haaland up front. Right, they're saying 2-1 City, so what's the goal? But I'm saying 3-1 Man City. Right, okay, so but I'm expecting a City win, but again, for instance, but if we get an early goal, then that will help. Right, Pepe, what have you been saying, mate? Because you're going to be all over Talksport today. I'm telling you right now, mate. Putting by the way his political beliefs, he was talking about Man City and the fact that we don't. For instance, he said I'm grumpy because we haven't spent so much. The club's not spent so much, but I think again he was saying he was only joking. But unfortunately, it's leading the line on ESPN, and more than likely the rest of him. And so Jim White will actually pick it up today. I'm telling you right now, it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon here in Thailand, etc. About 8 o'clock UK time. But I'm telling you right now, they will have something to say. Pep Guardiola last season was arguably the most difficult we had in 10 years. The game results had everything right. The worst, how many times we talked the referees. How many times? No, none. It's going to say like last season. We didn't have an issue with the referees. Players and manager have got to call out the referees when they're doing wrong, and they can't be protected by the social mainstream media. Okay, when it comes down to Liverpool, having an issue? But now, but Man City and Pep Guardiola actually says anything about the refereeing and about the VAR decisions, and it's start moaning. You'll get Simon Jordan and Jimmy White. It's wrong to do that. I know again, for instance, this is the reason why Rodri come out and says, "I'm sure you don't want us to win the Premier League," but because the thing is, and it's all right saying, well, but Spurs probably want you to win, but the thing, it's not fair. I see it hurt so many times. When Pep Guardiola, you listen to him and a player and come out and calling a bad decision, and for instance, and then saying it's and we have a right to complain. We can't. When they make mistakes, and they're making too many mistakes at the moment. And it's not being a Man City fan. I see it in all the games as well. And we can't be slagged off by the mainstream southern-based biased media, two-tier media. In the last game against Spurs, we played three and all had the process. We were talking about everything every single day. Pep Guardiola, whether people stop talking about City spending, no, because of course they won't. They're never going to spend, and I'm sure they'll have facts and figures today about Manchester spending. And forget it, honestly. When the facts were that Man City don't spend as much as the rest of the teams, but we'll never give it credit, because again, it's just bitterness. You can't tackle us on the pitch. It'll be 1-1-5. How much money does Man City spend? Blah 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 blah. And that's the reason why I'm always worried, obviously, when he comes out and says something, which he's Spanish, he's passionate, he's got that passionate in him. If you know about Spanish people, Italian people are very passionate, for instance, and they want to come out and say what's on their mind, but they can't, because if you say something in their mind, you complain in the UK, no, you can't do that. For instance, always, we never made a mistake. On Rodri said after the game, I quoted, I knew we won, I know we won too much and people don't want us to win. For me, honestly, it's not fair, said Rodri. Anyway, the reporter pushing it, the slagging thing, etc. From the angle, he touched the ball. He might have touched the ball, but the force of the ball, or the force of the kick on Gahey, pushed it past. For instance, that tap or whatever in the slang, he might have touched the ball when after he kicked the ball in his leg. It wasn't good enough. He wasn't strong enough to go through the goal. And the fact that is the truth. They originally gave the ball, the goal, to Gahey. As an own goal. And then they changed it and said, oh no, Solanke scores the goal, because they can't give the goal to Gahey. Because they did that, they know then his back was touched. They're trying to cover it up, and the mainstream sort-based bias media and the people who hate Man City are going along with it, because again, for instance, they want to discredit Man City and support the VAR, even though the VAR is wrong and we should be calling out VAR and not slagging off Manchester City. So the journalist, you're a piece of garbage, really is. So I think someone's going to go through all that, but no, I just hope that we can go through a game today, for instance, without a VAR decision, and have a good game of football between two good sides, and for instance, and then maybe the best team win and go to Wembley, and then we can have we can put this to rest. But I'm expecting a lot of pushback from the mainstream media today, and I just sick and tired of it. Really am. I'm trying to avoid it, but. For instance, and when our own fans, etc., are turning against us as well, those plastic ones and pep outers, and just drives me crazy. Guys, I'm going to leave you. I hope you have a game. If you're going to the game today, enjoy. For instance, I know there's a few seats left available. Shame about that, but it's January and people some February also go, but it's about money, for Christ's sake. People are rich, especially with all these tax, which the government seems to be putting on the British people. Guys, going to love you and leave you. 2 blue time from Thailand. Like and subscribe. Tell me what you're thinking, what's on your mind, and I'll speak to you tomorrow after the game. And I just hope that we've got the point. We've won the game, and we're on the way to Wembley.